Hello there, and welcome to the Copy Cash Secrets, where I'll be teaching you on how to boost your sales. In this module, I'll be touching on how to guarantee, how to add bonuses, FAQ section, and scarcity. Words are a powerful tool if utilized properly by anyone in marketing or sales. Keyword for guarantee is an essential component for most good e-commerce marketing copy. The word guaranteed appeals to consumer emotional triggers like safety and trust. The word works like a safety net, which is a promise made by a retailer to a customer that they will be pleased with their purchase. In behavioral economics, studies have indicated that humans are inherently afraid of loss when purchasing an item due to the chance of disliking it. By indicating the word guarantee in a sales copy, this would diminish the consumer's possibility of loss. Keywords such as guarantee, money-back guarantee, and versions like or your money back should be applied into the sales copy. Words and promises are nothing if you don't act on it. You can show your prospects that you're concerned and care for them. You can easily express this by providing a money-back guarantee policy. Take, for example, a digital product which usually has the 90 days policy duration. This indication on your sales copy will let your prospect know that you're shouldering all the risk for him or her. Providing a money-back guarantee will indicate how confident you are in the top quality of your product or your services too. In any case, if your customer does not like your product or he or she thinks it is not suitable, he or she can promptly ask for a refund and stop using your product or services. Even though having a money-back guarantee policy is a good thing to have in your business, there will always be a possibility that your prospects may exploit this feature. For example, a prospect purchases your product and later seeks for a refund with the wrong reasons while still keeping the product. This would affect your business policy to a minor degree, but it is best to invest more time on improving or pushing in more revenue for your business. Generally, most prospects would not exploit such an act, and the sales you make easily surpass the amount of refunds. If you want to make your sales copy to convince people to purchase your product or services, a great way is to provide incentive and help people decide to buy from you by adding in bonuses along with your product. Essentially, bonuses and incentives help you to develop extra value to your original offer. You can increase the value of your offer by adding in something which has its own separate value that can be very attractive in the eyes of your customers. Bonuses can be in many forms depending on what kind of product or your services are. It can be a physical product or information products or extra services, such as free consultations or even a free trial. You might be asking yourself, how do I even deliver the bonuses to my customers? Simply put, the method of bonus delivery varies. For example, your product requires members to log into a web page to gain access to tutorial videos. You can easily include the bonuses in their own section within that membership site. In a digital product such as an ebook, you could include extra files or instructions in a form of a zip file for download. You could even deliver your bonuses via email after purchase. When it comes to how to package your product and bonuses, always package your offers so that your bonuses are given away for free on top of the main product that you're offering. Moreover, deliver the bonuses as items that are separate from the main product to create an impression that both items are separate entities. To ensure that your bonuses are convincing enough to get your customers to purchase your product or services, it's best to ensure that your bonuses are in a way related to the main product. It's one of the ways to provide incentives for your customers to purchase your product, and the bonuses are being seen as an added value. Nonetheless, bonuses are not necessary features to include in your sales copy, but rather the sales copy is the main driving force that determines the value of your product. In general, as long as you can convince your prospects the actual value they are gaining from your product or services, there will be a certainty you will gain sales from it with or without bonuses. To ensure your prospects understand what your sales copy is all about, you have to ask yourself, what is it that I want my prospects to walk away with from my sales copy? You must address and answer the important questions your prospect should have in mind when he or she is reading your sales copy. Let me explain to you the 4 questions that should make your prospect fully understand the sales copy. Why should I trust you? What credibility do you have? With all forms of scams and false information being advertised through sales copy, disbelief sets in very quickly for prospects. You have to make your prospects trust what you're telling them is the undeniable truth. When it comes to credibility, you should show them statistics or details to back up your claims. Prove to them that your sales copy is the truth from the start, and they'll believe everything you have to say from that point forward. Why should I purchase your product or service? Why not other people's? You need to find out why your product is different and why your prospects need them. The more specific, the better it is to determine a specific prospect should consider your product or services. Why should I buy now and not later? The last question you must answer for your prospect is why they need to buy it immediately. If you fail to answer this question, your prospect may act at a later date. You should provide a good reason to act straight away. Provide a special price if they act within the next few days' time, or you could tell them the product or services are limited and it won't be available. How can your product or service help me? Provide a list of benefits the customer could gain with your product and services, and list them from the most significant to the least. If one of your benefits can capture their need for your product, then you're going to make a new customer. Are you looking for ways to prompt your prospect to purchase now? Perhaps you should make your product or services less available. The principle is called scarcity, which is a psychological influence that people would value something more if it's in short supply. Perceived value has an inverse relationship to availability. Certain things that are valued because they are useful, unique, or effective. There are others that have value simply because they are scarce. If you want to persuade people to purchase your product or services to boost your sales, using scarcity means emphasizing that your product or service is scarce or limited in one or more of these options. Quantity. Only a number of it exists or are available. Example, limited edition products, collector's editions. For example, just 100 of these custom-designed Jurassic Park silver emblems are ever produced. Time. Only available within a short window frame. For example, Black Friday sale, in which the sale is only available on Friday. Competition. Competing against other people to gain first access, where they're likely used in conjunction with another aspect of scarcity. For example, high demand for a premium helicopter ride is sure to be amazing. Book your ride before the September 30th deadline. Threat. The chance will be taken away forever if you fail to act. For example, post office closure plans are based on usage patterns, so use your local PO or lose it. Profile, only available to certain prospects or existing customers. The group can determine on the basis of age, purchase history, geographical location, or any relevant attribute. For example, as someone who's previously purchased Windows 10, you've been selected to receive information about this amazing subscription offer. Invitation. Only available if an existing customer invites you. For example, SoundCloud is currently in an invitation-only beta, which means you need to have received an invitation to take access of this service. If you're going to use the scarcity technique in your sales copy, it's important to take note that people are not naive. Prolonged usage of this technique is ill-advised, as over time it will soon lose its power to motivate your prospects. Hello there, and welcome to the CopyCash Secrets, where I'll be teaching you on how to write a call to action and how to close the sale. Now, you may be questioning yourself on how do I start writing my own call to action copy? Well, let me show you how to write compelling call to action copy that can easily get visitors to click. Begin with subjects and verbs, as it helps readers to quickly pick up the meaning of a sentence. As basic as these facts may be, acknowledging this when developing your call to action is significant when the attention of readers is usually obscure. By not adding in a verb in the call to action copy, you're not prompting readers to take action, which can affect the click-through rate of your call to action and negatively impact conversions. Include data and numbers is a great way to show that your message is clear and simple. Numbers are a good way to break through the clutter of vagueness. Be specific about your offer and set the proper expectations. A number tells visitors specifically what they're going to get, how much of it, and for how long. This technique has proven to be successful not only for call to action copy, but also for blog post titles, press release headlines, and email subject lines. Furthermore, adding in digits in your sales copy can potentially increase total views. So what kind of data or numbers should you include in your call to action copy? You can mention a specific discount, list of numerical impact or benefit of a product or service you're providing. Use adverbs sparingly, as most of them can be recognized by their ly ending. For example, finally, sadly, and quickly. However, there are various types of adverbs, and their function is to change constituents other than nouns. Essentially, they have no fixed position in a sentence. For example, you can place the word totally at different places in the same sentence. Keep it between 90 and 150 characters, as the call to action has to be short and brief. Don't write long-winded copy that may take your visitor a longer time to read. Make words less technical and more practical in your call to action, as it will most likely reflect industry-specific knowledge. However, there are some of the best practices that held true for all call to action copy, regardless of industry. Compared to the previous points that I've explained so far, this point comes from the best practices of other marketing activities. Words such as insights, analysis, answers, questions, advice, review, why, product, type, and best. These words help to suggest that content can improve the reader in a way. The same logic can be useful in developing a call to action copy by emphasizing the benefits of the offer and how it can make your prospects better. There are certain words such as franchise, investment, virtualization, and conferencing which attract fewer readers. These terms are basically implying the forced complexity and are considered to be less appealing to readers. It's best to avoid such technical jargon in your call to action copy. Now that I've explained the ways to write your call to action copy, let's move on to the part where I'll show you how to close the sale. When it comes to your sales copy, if you want your readers to do something, you need to ask them. But do you know how to ask them straight away? If there's a way to direct your readers to action that works better than others, do you know what it is? How do you get your audience to click, download, subscribe, or even purchase? What could you do to enhance overall response rates? To help out with these questions, I'll be showing you the 7 specific call to action examples and strategies that could work. First example, offer something of value. Whether if you're offering a free download, a 15% off discount, or something else, providing your audience something of value is a great way to get them to respond to your call to action. This type of request speaks straight to a reader's sense of motivation, encouraging him or her to complete a task because of what comes in return. To use this option, you should ask yourself what's in it for your reader and emphasize that in your call to action. Second example, speak to objections. You understand what your customer's main objections will be in deciding a purchase, so why not head them off before they occur? Address directly to these biggest objections by responding to them right in your call to action. If it's worry about product satisfaction, include money-back guarantee in your sales copy. If it's cold feet about commitment, assure them of what they could have gained. Think through the setbacks from a customer's point of view of responding to your request and figure out a way to ease their concerns. Third example, rouse curiosity. Think about what entices you to click to an ad or respond to a call to action. Isn't it often because there's something in it that made you feel interested? You wanted to find out more or learn something. Use this to your advantage. Make it simple for your readers to do what you want them to do by making it difficult to resist. Gain their interest. Make them have the desire to learn more. Question them to which they want to find out the answer to, and you'll see an increase in response. The fourth example, use social proof. People are much more likely to click something when they found out other people have done it too. When possible, use social proof to your advantage. Try a call to action that references the approval of other customers and fans. Look at why 9 out of 10 clients chose our product, or join the 5,100 viewers subscribing to our sales letter. Are solid examples of this sort of call to action. Show your audience that doing what you're asking will make them a part of the group. The fifth example, include a timeline. A sense of urgency adds significance to your call to action. When there's a timeline on your request, readers understand they have a limited time in which to act, and that prioritizes a decision. To encourage readers to respond to your request, provide them a deadline. Try a "Take action now to earn our 25% discount," or perhaps a "This offer is only available for 14 days only." The sixth example, customize to your audience. Not every reader is similar, so your calls to action should be varied. Rather than applying to a one-size-fits-all method, think about the people you're trying to reach. The better you know your audience, the more equipped you are to reach them. If your goal is to gain more sales, develop your calls to action to appeal to your most common demographics. To be even more effective, develop various calls to action for different stages of the sales cycle in order to convince readers through their purchases. The seventh example, sweeten the deal. Think about the famous commercials where they ask viewers to increase their donations. They always provide extra incentives. This similar principle works online. When you want your readers to provide a little more money or purchase another product or take their action one step further, use a call to action that sweetens their incentives when they do. Hello, welcome and thanks for choosing this video course. In this video, I'm going to show you the ultimate formula for copywriting. Without any further ado, let's get started. If you want to persuade, you've got to let the folks know what they're in for. What's your product? What does it do? Who is it for? Start with a simple overview, a bird's eye look at what you've got to offer. Here's an example. A step-by-step home study course that teaches struggling entrepreneurs how to bring in more customers. These are the features of your product or service. They're important, although they're not as important as the benefits. But if you gloss over the details of what your product or service actually contains, people will be skeptical about putting their money down. And as we all know, skeptical people don't buy. For some reason, the distinction between benefits and features is hard to remember. But what it's going to do for you is much easier to keep in mind. And it's the same thing. What's better about life with your product? Describe the end result, the after picture once your customer has bought your product and used it as you recommended. Let the reader know how your product helps her reach the goals that matter most to her. For example, you'll have more confidence, less stress, and you'll have a simple, proven plan for smoothing out those awful cash flow gaps in your business. Whether or not you need this step depends on where you are with this particular reader. If she's been reading your blog for a year, she knows you very well, so you may be able to skip it. But most of the time, you need to establish that you're a trustworthy and worthwhile person and that you know what you're talking about. This is why good sales letters often include a photo near the top of the page. The photo can include some elements that help the reader like and trust the author. Babies and dogs are always winners here. If your topic is gardening, a photo of you in front of your own great garden is a credibility builder. And you've probably noticed that in weight loss, we always seem to get a good look at the fitness guru's terrific abs. That's what this element's pointing to. Not just who you are, but how you're like your customer and what you offer that benefits her. So it's not actually about you after all, it's about how you help her. This is our old friend, the call to action. The reader needs to know specifically what to do next. Don't just put a link in. Tell her to click here. Don't ask the reader what to do this minute to move forward with the sale. Be specific and painstakingly clear. And of course, if you have a good scarcity element, like your terrific offer is going away in 6 days, you may make that very clear here. Every step of your persuasion sequence, whether it's a short opt-in page or a months-long sideways sales letter, needs a clear and specific call to action. Hello, welcome, and thanks for choosing this video course. In this video, I'm going to touch on Subhead's formula. The subheadline is like an extension of the headline. It continues to draw the reader in while providing even more intriguing information that keeps them reading. It's what stops you from walking by the new release shelf and over to the non-fiction rack, because it's not only captured your attention, but got your full attention. Now you're curious. You are enticed. Subheadlines are often one of the most effective ways to keep readers reading. They introduce each section of your writing, letting the reader know what they're about to find out. The subheadlines do not have to be as bold as the headline, but they must maintain the reader's attention. First of all, subheads actually serve a few important purposes. The first subhead, can often gently imply that if your reader doesn't continue reading, they will lose out on something. Also, the first subhead acts as the first key point for people who will only read the subheads and bullets. In general, there are two kinds of copy readers. There are those who are captivated by your entire story and will read from beginning to end. There are also those who don't need to know your story, your history. They are already sold on you. They simply want to decide if they want this service or product. These people read the subheads and bullets, and that's about it. Therefore, the subheads must tell an entire story of their own from top to bottom. The last one would be the subheads should all be the same font size. If your text is 10 point and your headline was 20 or 24 point, then having subheads in 14 or 16 point is about right. The consistency allows the skimmer to easily read the story of the subheads without the seemingly unimportant details. Your goal is to get the readers to read all the way to the end of your copy so they can do business with you. With well-written subheadlines, you can do this easily. You can use them as highlighted notes that give a hint that there's much more to come if the reader just keeps on reading. In order to gain a better result, it's essential that you need to apply a few techniques to achieve what you wanted. Here are some of the techniques I would suggest you practice. 1. Express clear and complete benefit. As long as you think of your subheads as what they actually are, subheadlines, you should do well. Even people who have learned to write compelling primary headlines often slack off with subheads and commit the sin of cryptic or cute headings that fail to communicate anything of true value to the reader. 2. Use parallelism that advocates action. In the case of articles and blog posts, your overall flow will improve if your subheads all start with the same part of speech, parallelism, and that part of speech is a verb. For example, the subheads from this post are: turn a scanner back into a reader with subheads. Keep your reader on track with benefits. Use these 3 subhead techniques for better results. Win the battle against the scanners. 3. Try writing your subheads first. It can be helpful to write your headline first to properly define the overall compelling benefit of the piece has to offer. You can clearly delineate the sections of your copy by then writing your subheads next, before any body text. This will help you to optimally structure your content. If it helps, think of everything you write as a list. How many points, benefits are you trying to make in order to properly communicate your topic or pitch? List them out, and if you find that one or more of these points doesn't really fit or provide a benefit to the reader, toss it.